All right, so welcome everybody at Flow Design Architects on another one of our training sessions that we always forget why we do them, and then we know why we do them when we do them because they're very important. They keep us sharp, they keep us in alignment, and we've been consistent. I'm very happy. This 2026, we've been very consistent with our trainings. If you didn't get a chance to watch the previous one, it was a bit of my career path and passing the AREs. I would recommend that you guys watch it if you didn't watch it. And then preview to that, we had a few with Ray Ramirez on interior designs and other ones on permit sets and things like that. So today we're gonna have one that I have firsthand seen at work. We've talked about AI before, and we actually did a training early about AI last year, but we were new to it. I don't think even Tim was fully on board with the idea of AI. And Tim Mulinge has been using the tool. I've also seen Paulo using the tool and certain tools and workflows that drastically increase our efficiency. I'm not talking like saving a minute. I'm talking about saving hours and hours and hours. Me and Marcos often look at people's work and the time it takes them to do certain things. And like renderings, we were always like, why is the rendering taking so long? We would see that people spend a lot of time on little things like renderings and things like that. And AI, what we've seen, one, by virtue of our clients doing it, but also by virtue of people doing it, can save a lot of time and a lot of cost because the membership's only like what, $20 a month versus a $3,000 membership for Lumion or other tools. But Tim has done remarkable work. I've seen the workflow personally, and I won't take more time from him. He will show us the processes he takes, how he's been kind of approaching AI. And I really encourage all of you to literally copy and paste his processes. Just try them for size 1,000%. Because in 3 months, he's being able to do work that we haven't seen in 6, 7 months. The quality of the renderings, the quality of the work. I keep sharing it as a way of encouraging, man. It's not like peer pressure. It's just encouraging everybody to do the same thing. So thank you, Tim. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you for that really nice intro. Um, yeah, so today we're going to just have a conversation about efficiency and AI tips and tricks. I don't anticipate this taking pretty long because towards the end, I want to open it up as a conversation that we all have, where you kind of give me some questions that you have, some of your own personal experiences, some challenges that you've had. I know on Monday, a couple of that came up. And so I wanted us to take some time and address it. And so at first, for us to kind of understand the whole idea with AI. First of all, can everyone see my screen? Awesome. For us to understand the whole idea with AI, it's imperative that we first understand what efficiency means, right? Today's training is on efficiency and AI tips, so I'll break it into two. We'll talk about efficiency, and then we will talk about AI tips on how to achieve efficiency. So, according to Cambridge Dictionary, efficiency is a good use of time, energy without wasting any of the two, time and energy, which are resources that we have at our disposal throughout our 24 hours in a day, right? And so, in doing some little research and what efficiency means to me, I came up with this definition, which is the optimization of available tools to produce an outcome that is at the highest practical level of quality while minimizing waste of time, resources, and effort. There's usually a misconception that sometimes when you're efficient or when you do things at a shorter time, it compromises quality, right? But there is a way in, you know, 2026 on how we can achieve both efficiency while tackling um, quality and still, make profits and still have time left for other things. And we will look into that in a little bit of depth. So, what, 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 um, what caused the whole, or what sparked the whole journey on efficiency? Well, I personally, away from architecture, I'm I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and I like to travel and I like to do a lot of things, but then we only have 24 hours in a day. So the question is, how do I still show up at work and still make time to pursue what I want to pursue, to leave early from the office. And even within the office, how can I perform my tasks at the shortest time possible while still maintaining quality, which is very important, but at the same time, allocate some more time to learn new tips and tricks, for example, project management, how to bill and invoice. I'm personally inclined more to the management side, and so that those are things that I want to be able to do, but then I can't do that while compromising the project health and project quality, because we still have to be billable, we still have to make money, right? So this is also a way for us as designers to create more time for ourselves, to elevate ourselves and have some leverage that will put us at a better foot forward professionally. So as mentioned, our agenda today we have looked at the efficiency, the definition. Now we'll look at why it matters, and then we'll go to the desired results, which is on project quality, and then we'll touch a little bit on AI tips and tricks. Will have to have a second training on this because it's a broad conversation. It's a very broad conversation, but then today we'll just touch on a little bit so that we also try to make it digestible. And it's not just me throwing information on you guys all at once. So without further ado, why efficiency matters, right? So the first step is time is a finite resource. Um, every project has deadlines, meetings, revisions, and deliverables, right? And so an efficient professional in this field, in our office, can complete tasks in less time without sacrificing quality. They can allocate more time to creative thinking and problem solving, right? Um, they can also reduce stress, which is caused by last minute work. I've been at Flow for about 4 years now, cumulatively, and there's a lot of last minute work that goes in, which usually builds up a lot of stress and which in turn compromises on quality. But there's a way to solve that, right? And also the fourth point is that you can handle a greater variety of projects and opportunities, right? Instead of sticking on, doing decks and porches for 6 months, you can fast track your way and lead into bigger projects with bigger budgets and be able to hold bigger responsibilities too, right? You're just equipping yourself as a designer and becoming an asset to the company. And also, as an example, spending 20 hours drafting something that could be completed within 5 hours means losing about 15 hours that could have been invested in design exploration, right? Trying to look at multiple facade options, multiple floor plan orientations, design explorations, building client relationships, or developing and acquiring a new skill or knowledge that can elevate your position, right? Moving from designer to lead designer to senior designer, project manager, director of design, principal, whatever your trajectory looks like in this field of architecture. So time is one of the things that we need to be cautious about. The second is that efficiency protects profitability. In the professional practice, time, which we've just talked about, is directly tied into money, right? Every extra hour spent on a task increases labor cost, right? It reduces profit margins. It limits a firm's capacity to take on additional work, right? Sometimes we probably have had to say no to certain projects, not because of the project type, but because our list is full of things, and we don't know what the other projects could hold in terms of opportunities, right? And so being efficient within time and in our modus operandi, in our way of operating, limits a firm's not being efficient limits a firm's capacity to take on additional work. Now, a firm that consistently delivers quality work and efficiently can remain competitive. We can improve profitability, and we all get paid more because everybody wants to be paid more and go on vacation in various places that is not just Miami and Las Vegas and all of those places, right? Um, and for I who likes to take vacations out of the country, right? Uh, and it also gives us an opportunity to invest more in the staff and in technology and growth, right? This means being efficient with our projects means that you get to sit for longer time with Darwin or Marcos, not just to discuss about a permit set, but maybe business development, maybe personal growth, right? I've personally had in the past, I've heard the comments and also had sessions where my annual review has been cut short because of the projects that we have to do. But I'm just thinking personally, like just taking personal responsibility of it. Had I been efficient with the time, I probably would have had more time with the principals to gather a lot of information on what I could have done better to be a better asset to the company, right? And to put it in perspective, some of the most successful firms are often not the ones that work the hardest, right? But the ones that have had systems or have created systems to enable them deliver the most value per hour invested, right? Third, is that efficiency creates the capacity for creativity, right? When repetitive tasks are streamlined in our four-step process, right? More time is available for concept development. We always look at two design options, but lately we've been exploring more just to kind of build our arsenal of design language, design thinking, and also just to to expound on our knowledge in terms of design. So more time is available for concept development, more alternatives can be explored, which we'll see in a minute, and better design decisions can be made. Creative energy is spent where it matters most. When we were doing the B-Birth design charrette in the beginning, Darwin, Marcus, Wendy, Nicole, and I were in the office, and everyone was kind of taking a stab at the designs. And there's something pretty meaningful that Darwin said. Usually in the design process, your first two or three designs are usually the crappy ones, right? And then after that, you start to refine them. Now, in refining them, you will get stronger ideas that probably would enable you to refine your first crappy idea to make it even better or stronger. Now, if you're efficient in your time, if you have a system set up, you can create 1,000 iterations that enables you to kind of pick from those options and have a stronger design concept, which in turn builds a stronger portfolio for the company at large, right? And the projects that we now have to market in order to get other jobs are of a higher quality and a higher design standard. For example, using AI templates, automation, and standardized workflows can eliminate repetitive production work and allow us to focus on design rather than drafting. And it also reduces a lot of time spent on screen, on software, learning software, and all of that, which is still important, but it helps you allocate the time properly. The fourth reason why efficiency matters is that efficiency preserves quality. Now, a common misconception is that efficiency means cutting corners, right? But true efficiency means producing the highest practical quality with the least amount of waste. So I implore you guys to be patient with the process. At first, it will seem very difficult. It will take a lot of tries, but like everything else, but through repetition, this will all become muscle memory, right? A project that requires 3 rounds of corrections due to poor organization is not efficient, regardless of how quickly it was produced initially, right? And so when systems are efficient, errors are reduced, coordination improves. We're now starting to work within the teams that we've been involved with during kickoff. So you have your project manager, you have your principal, you have your peer reviewers, and so coordination improves when you're efficient, right? And rework decreases, right? And deliverables become more constant and consistent. You won't have one set that is a 2 out of 10 and then another set that is a 9 out of 10, right? We'll maintain that quality all throughout. The fifth reason why efficiency matters is because efficiency improves client experience. Clients rarely see the hours worked behind the scenes. What they see and they experience is the quality and readability of the final service. Clients value responsiveness, predictability, reliability, and quality. The excessive amount that it takes you to design a project, a third of that could have been used to keep your client up to date with the progress of their project, which has been a recurring issue at Flow Design. But of course, when we're efficient, it creates more time for us to develop those client relationships. And an efficient practice, an efficient firm can meet deadlines consistently and even earlier, um, respond quickly to requests, deliver clear documentation, provide more value within the same budget, right? I've done two or three projects now that have been met or have been completed before their deadline. Um, but then at the same time now that has increased the amount of projects on my list. But the sixth reason why efficiency matters is because efficiency enables growth for the designer and for the firm. For the designer, you can manage larger projects. You now move to projects within bigger budgets, right? And bigger scopes. You can lead bigger teams, and you can generate greater impact. For the firm, we can improve profitability, we can invest in technology and expand into new markets. Right now, we do a lot of restaurants, retail stores, single family, multifamily. But I mean, what I love about Flow is that we're not pigeonholed to one specific project type or client, right? We do everything. We've designed churches, we've designed restaurants, we've designed decks, we've designed. So this enables you as a designer in your resume and in your arsenal of skills and abilities of things to do. It opens your horizon to the many things that you can do and the many skills that you can add into your vocabulary. Lastly, the seventh reason why efficiency matters is that efficiency respects people, which is one of the most important things when you're working in a practice with other professionals. When you're more efficient with your own work, you're more likely to leave work on time, avoid burnout, maintain relationships, pursue and pursue personal interest. Um, a culture of constant overtime isn't a culture of constant overtime is often a symptom of inefficiency rather than dedication, in my experience and in my point of view. Many of the times when you're constantly working past your hours, it's a symptom of inefficiency and lack of organization rather than it shows that you're dedicated. So those are things that we kind of need to work on. It's important for us to understand why I've taken these 7 steps is for us to understand what efficiency means and how it directly impacts us as designers and the firm so that it informs our decisions moving forward, right? And we can act on it with more urgency. Now,
I can step in real quickly on that.
yeah,
Marcos is a perfect example, and actually Nicole are perfect examples. I am a perfect example of inefficiency, but I would say is I it's by right. I do it because I want to do it like that, but people shouldn't be taking more time than what they that you know what, to be honest, it's not because I want to. It's because I've been working in understanding that life balance. Marcos works about the same amount of hour plus or minus than me, actual work, right? Within the time that he gets here, when he gets out, he gets done the same amount. I probably am here longer, but he gets it done. Nicole works consistently the same amount of hour, and he gets done just as much as me or twice as much. So People that really value their time. Once the clock is out, the clock is out. When the clock is in, the clock is in. There's no merging life and work, personal with work. It's very, very important. And I've seen that those that do that are often the most healthy, the most balanced. They do not carry a lot of like burdens in their hearts, because you often may feel like, oh, I'm working so much but I don't feel rewarded. Are you really being efficient with your time though? Is the output as good as the input? So burnout, it's simple mathematics. It's you outputting more than what you're inputting, right? So you got to make sure that you have balance, that you have rest, that you have consistency. It's not the person that's here like until 10 p.m. That I don't care about that. I care about output. What are the results? Are the projects on time? Are the projects managed on time? Are you balancing your time properly? And that shows up in our monographs, and it shows up in your list of projects, shows up in reviews. It's about thinking smart and strategic. It's not about showing that you work hard. It's actually about working hard. There's a difference between showing one thing, but the numbers don't really justify it. Team gets here early, gets it done. I've seen no problem with that. Nicole's phone goes off after like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and it's beautiful. I love that. I respect that. It's great. Marco's the same idea. I love that. We have all the things. This is a practice, but we have life, and the whole of life, there's more to it than just the practice. So you not being efficient is actually a big problem, and we have to figure out how to solve it. And it's a personal kind of discussion. What am I doing with my time? Where's my time going? What am I missing on? What's going on? Right. So it's really, really important. And make sure that we track why is that happening? Where is your time going? Is it monograph? Is it ChatGPT? Is it I have been setting back actually, and Tim has congratulated me as of last week, I guess, that I've been leaving earlier, coming here a little later, and the work still comes in, and everything's still. I just gotten better at doing the things I'm doing and not doing things I'm not supposed to do. There are calls that you shouldn't answer. There's emails you shouldn't get into. You got to focus on what's really important. It's not about burning yourself out. That way, I can work for a long time. Longevity. Is health. And that's important.
And to add on to that, now how efficiency, well, efficiency respects people, and that we've talked about it from a personal point of view. Now let's just explore how it affects others, right? When you're inefficient in your workflow, it affects the seniors and it also affects the principal. If you don't, when you don't plan your time well, when you're not efficient with your time, um, it shouldn't be a practice where a senior designer has to stay late and complete a set with you, which could have been avoided if you had planned your time, right? It shouldn't be a case where you're now rushing a principal to look at a set that you need done immediately when they have countlessly said that permit sets should be um, presented in time so that they can look at it within due time and get it back to you. So it's important for us all to organize ourselves and to think about the other people in the firm, and their schedules and their running lists and what they have to do. And by that, we will ensure that respect is mutual. Respect for everyone's time is also mutual, and agreed upon, and that carries through across the board. With that said, um, so why efficiency matters. The question, for a designer or architect, efficiency should not be viewed as how can I quickly finish this so that I can go home. But instead, it should be, especially in our young age where we still have a lot to kind of acquire, and add to our value. Um, the question on efficiency should be how can I achieve the highest quality outcome with the greatest impact using the least necessary amount of time, money, effort, and resources, right? When practiced correctly, efficiency becomes a multiplier of quality, creativity, profitability, and personal well-being, not a substitute for them. It becomes a multiplier for it. Now, so we've talked about the efficiency, what efficiency is, why efficiency matters, and we've kind of come to this consensus that it is to produce a certain agreed on quality of work that is consistent all through. So what is that quality of work? What is that desired result from flow? So recently, as you probably have seen in some of the work that we've shared, our delivery standards got an update. And we're looking at doing things with a touch of more intention, um, and care into how we are presenting things, right? And so we have created a new system that is newly embedded in our design process, and we're delivering a quality package with quality designs, all sponsored by efficiency, all made possible by squeezing in everything and being every task that we have, doing it well, doing it efficiently, and creating room for more explorations, right? And so one of the places that this has kind of manifested itself is in our package, right? We are now doing context diagrams and precedents on the site plan. This creates, this lets our clients and the people who are reviewing it from the city know that we take our work seriously and we do study and conduct proper research about the project, what it looks like, right? For example, in this project, 108 Millett Street in Boston, this was our project. Our client we wanted to propose that our client maximizes on the unit space. And so the task, the reason for this diagram is kind of to show the city and the client that, hey, you have neighbors within the same zoning area that you're in, that your project is in, that have done the same thing. So this is doable. This is something we could do. And also gives a precedent for how we can proceed moving forward with this project. So context diagrams are mandatory. And with the same breath, so are precedent studies. We need to look at what has been created, what is successful, and how we can achieve the same result, right? When I joined Flow, Darwin sang, I'm saying sang because it became a rhythm over time, about how we're running away from doing cookie cutter stuff, right? We need to develop our own identity. We need to stand out. And with the new branding that we're going to kind of, release, we have to, with the new branding, we have to release work that matches to the same level with what we are, the same quality that we are trying to promote. So this is on context diagrams and precedent studies. This can be achieved. This is as simple as taking a screen grab from Google Earth, laying it in Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, having a mask over it with the color, and pulling out, creating these arrows to kind of show these images, which are also embedded into the same file, just by masking a region and creating a border around it. As simple as that, export it and put it back into your Revit file or InDesign file, add text to it. Of course, giving the appropriate information that is needed for this document, right? And so, yeah, this can be completed using either Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. And for the site plan for projects, this is a project that I'm currently working on in 16 Newbury Street in Somerville. And just instead of showing a black and white with Revit color site plan or site diagram, let's show something that gives us more information. For example, from this rendered site plan, this can tell me, number one, the context. Number two, I can already know the sun orientation and sun path from the shadows, right? And I can also give a slight, a light site design of what this property will look like afterwards. You have your driveway, you have your way back, you have vegetation, all of that. And then, of course, we're noting that this rendered site plan is for conceptual purposes only, refer to actual site plan that is given by whoever is doing the survey. But this kind of shows intentionality in your design. It shows that you actually have thought about what you're designing and what you're proposing to the client. This is another example of a site plan that we did for a project, 8 Parrot Street. We did 4 site plans for this because that was kind of the concept that we were pushing forward. And in this, again, same information is shown, but I'm also giving the information on the site, right? 9 homes, the footprint, how many bedrooms and bath per house, what's the garage square footage, what's the first floor, and all of that, all those details. There's definitely a lot more that you can show with this, but this already looks appealing and it sells. It sells to the client rather than just showing a black and white image. All right. The other part, we are no longer doing black and white or grayscale renderings, right? It is preferred, and we're pushing for us to show rendered 3D perspectives. Number one, to show design direction and design decision, right? We need to show that we properly thought about this project, and we're eliminating the language of finishes to be determined by owner, this to be determined by owner. So we're kind of already saying that, hey, this is a project, I designed it, I might as well tell you what I envision it looks like, right? And then from there, the client can, of course, we'll push the client to go with the design, but then the client has the flexibility to decide whatever they want to do in terms of finishes. Now, what does this do for Flow? This adds to our portfolio on what we're able to do and promote. This speaks on our ability as designers and as an architectural firm. If we don't show this, we might as well just have like sketch it by hand and just send that. But this makes it easier for our marketing team. This makes it easier for our principals, right? Darwin closed a big project with a big fee, and I believe that one of the reasons why he was able to do that is because he provided the client on his phone a template of what we had already done, which was rendered. The floor plans were rendered, and the 3D plans were also rendered. So that kind of assists and pushes the client to say, yes, that's what I want, exactly how I want it. And it helps them make that decision. So
I have a
this,
question.
yes,
You provide these 3D in the first design option, or
yes,
you provided, oh, so you provide these and every time they do a revision, you do another 3D on top of that?
yes.
Oh, gee, okay.
It would have been a different case if you were doing it all on Lumion or Enscape, but with the power of AI, with a great prompt, which we will look at in a second, with a great prompt, you can have this completed within 30 minutes, 15 minutes or less, right? And so again, the key is to show intention and purpose from the beginning. This can be completed using ChatGPT, Gemini, or Adobe Photoshop. Adobe has multiple AI engines. It has Nano Banana Pro. It has Nano Banana It has a lot of engines that you can use to create this. So if one doesn't work, you can use multiple others. Now, this image, all these 3 images were created using one image, right? One black and white image, create this, and then ask AI to tilt the perspectives as much as you needed. Only this was kind of, I had to generate another view because of the complexities of the design and all of that. But this can all be attained within just generating one grayscale image, and we will see that in a bit. This is another proposed perspective that we presented to the client. And we will see this, how this came to be in a few minutes. But using this one image, this project was actually done with the assistance of Paldo, who, might I say, is pretty good at prompt engineering. And so we used this to create this and this and this, which is accurate to the site, right? This is literally what the site is. This is an image from Google Earth that we use to kind of replace where our houses are at. Gives the client the visuals that, your property is next to a train station. So we show you that. You also see it on this end. And it just makes the project, it breathes life into the project and makes it come to life. And the client is able to properly visualize it and make decisions. And it also eliminates the part where your client goes, oh, I never saw that in the design. Well, A, the client might have not looked at it properly, but also B, you might not have shown it properly, right? So using these tools, we can use this to our advantage and minimize the loopholes on our end, right? This also can be completed using ChatGPT, Gemini, and Adobe Photoshop, right?
Now, one thing I wanted to tell you guys, I've been sharing a lot of the projects Tim has been working on. You've seen me share it. You've seen it often. And I don't want it to look like it's the prodigy son that just came to Flow and Darwin has favoritism. No, no, no. He's able to look at a project we did. This Fabio's doing the same building. I mean, could we recognize it? Could you guys see this? It's a project that we've already done. He looked at the program, he looked at the spaces and said, wait a minute. We only need to rework the facades to contextualize it. Let's play with 20 different options of how that can look and put it into ChatGPT and do it. Like this project, he didn't come and had it done on his back pocket. He did it here. I watched him. It's being efficient. Efficient is saying, I've already done 20 decks like that. I'm going to go find that other deck that I know was built properly. And I'm going to reuse some of that. Now on this one, I'm going to work on the railings because those are different. On this one, I'm going to work on the roof pitch because those are different, right? I told him I want this building to breathe, Tim. I want it to feel more at smaller scale, breathable. He was able to do that. That's efficiency at its best. It looks like almost like you're cheating. It looks like somebody on steroids. Like cheating. It's cheating. It's like, what the heck? It's not cheating. Use the tools, use your brain. It's common sense, honestly.
Use the tools, use your brains. Now, how do we do that? Prompt engineering, right? Let's talk about prompt engineering for a second and see how we can get the best results. So this is the idea that I initially had, right? This is the idea that I placed into ChatGPT. And these are all the iterations that it gave, right? So you can generate endless possibilities within minutes and use these ideas to create your own. The prompt looked like, and so after I generated this, I kind of now took pieces of each idea, pieced it together, and came into this image. Now, this, as you can see from the quality of the image, this is literally me taking my phone and taking a picture and uploading it to my private chat GPT. And the prompt was, study the attached triplex facade, the left and center unit success. And this came from a comment that Darwin made that, oh, I like the left and the center, but the right is not too successful. So my prompt was, study the attached triplex facade. The left and center units successfully express distinct identities while sharing the same architectural language. The right unit feels weak and lacks hierarchy, presence, and a memorable silhouette. Generate 15 to 20 conceptual facade sketches that redesign only the right unit, retain a pitched roof and the existing massing, but explore variations in roof pitch, ridge height, asymmetry, shifted ridges, nested gables, projecting frames, and roof depth. The goal is to create a stronger end cap volume that feels iconic, contemporary, and sculptural while remaining part of the same family as the other two units. Think three siblings, same DNA, different personalities, focus on composition, proportion, rhythm, and silhouette rather than materials. So a good, specific, and direct prompt like that, number one, it will still make a mess because it's AI. But if you ask for 15 to 20 different options, the probability is that 5 of those options will be right and will be what you want. And so with that, you pick and you generate multiple options, right? Multiple options. And so the prompt after this was render the provided front elevation as a photorealistic architectural visual while preserving all geometry. Now, after I landed on the final one, preserve all geometry, do not change anything, roof forms, windows, balconies, garage doors, proportions, and the original front-facing perspective. Design the triplex as 3 distinct but cohesive contemporary townhomes. The left volume clad in black, vertical board, and board and batten siding. The center volume featuring warm horizontal wood siding combined with smooth white architectural panels. And the right volume clad in light gray horizontal siding. Use black aluminum windows, black metal railings, and continuous light concrete stucco base across the entire lower level. Situate the project within a typical Lynn, Massachusetts residential neighborhood with neighboring 2.5-story New England homes, mature trees, sidewalks, parked cars, and subtle landscaping. Create a clean, modern, high-end multifamily aesthetic with a sharp material definition, realistic wood grain, accurate glazing reflection, warm interior lighting, and presentation board quality photorealism. What this does is gives you a plethora of materials, and at the same time, it creates the context, and at the same time, it gives you an image that is presentation board quality photorealism, which means it's at a high quality. It's not 2 MB or less than, it's not less than that. It's a proper size that you can use for print, you can use for website, you can use for all of that. And this is just a GIF, an animated GIF of the multiple options that I generated on the facade. And then from that, I was like, okay, I like the gray, I like the black. And I was not married to the gray, black, white. I was like, I want the gray, black, white, but give me other options just in case I see something better. I can adjust my design to fit that, right? Now, another project is the 108 Millet Street, right? Where this is, so let me backtrack. Darwin, we had already created 3 design options. And for the 4th design option, Darwin threw another idea last minute, actually. And this was able to, we managed to do this in a matter of minutes before the meeting, actually. He sent me this screenshot, and he also sent me this screenshot. And so I uploaded this image, rough massing of what my project currently looked like. And the prompt was study the uploaded precedent, the 2 images, and extract their architectural language rather than copying them directly. Prioritize a large-scale facade element that spans all 3 floors: screen, mesh, battens, perforated skin, textured panel, system, or sculptured wall plane. So the building reads as a single contemporary volume rather than stacked levels. Using the provided building form and massing, redesign the facade as a contemporary urban infill building that conceals the appearance of a traditional triple decker. And these are the multiple images that, options that it gave. Now, what I've shown in these 2 GIFs are probably a handful of just what was generated for this project. If I was to gather everything generated from it, it's probably going to be between 50 to 75 images. But out of those 50 to 75 images, you're able to quickly look at it, sketch over it, see what you like, see what you don't like, piece them together in Sketch, and then after that, take it to Revit and produce the final design. And this, it enables you to do this within, again, it enables you to do within minutes. A project that would probably, just the entire design process that would take you to do a week or 2 weeks, you're able to complete it within 2 days or 3 days, have a design review on it, get feedback, adjust, have Darwin throw a curveball at you and make modifications so that we can get also pieces that, promote where we want the firm to go in terms of quality and presentation. So the game is simple. Generate multiple options at a time, piece ideas from each option to create a better and stronger concept. And the resources available at Flow We have Revit, we have Photoshop, we have InDesign, we have on some computers I've seen Rhino and SketchUp. We have, again, back on the definition of what efficiency means, right? It's the optimization of available tools to produce an outcome at the highest practical level of quality while minimizing the waste of time, resources, and effort. Let AI do the thinking for you and do the kind of the final. Now, I'm not saying you upload an entire project to ChatGPT and have it designed for you. No, you can use it wisely to generate multiple options, but you're still designing because you're the one who has the final say on what the project looks like.
What happens is, and this is happening with AI at a macro level, the AIA. People wonder, like, is AI going to replace us? Is it going to replace us? It's not going to replace us. It's just like AutoCAD at the beginning, like Revit. What's going to do is those that don't use it will be left behind and will not be competitive financially. They can't do it. That's why, an architect drawing by hand and me, I will always win, no matter what. It's not that he's not better. He may be better than me, but he's just not going to be more efficient. So, to that end, what's happening is that our roles evolving. So, our architecture, you see the importance of language, writing. It's very important to have that architectural way of thinking. He still is acting like an architect. That architectural language, there's nobody that didn't study architecture that will be able to do it like that. You see, so we still have the power. And I wouldn't say AI doing the thinking for you. You did the thinking on that prompting. You're just letting it do the horrible options faster. And the horrible option from AI is better than your basic horrible option. So you're already starting at a beautiful building, right? Like all of them are gonna be beautiful. So I was looking at all these options, and I'm like, I could pick any of them, man. They're all good. The other one too, I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. I'm like, where are those renders, by the way? Kelly is asking where are they saved. Save all these, please. I want to have it. I want to. Our new website should be using all of these renderings. Okay, so we triple decker part 1, triple decker part 2, triple decker part 3. But it's a matter of knowing what you're really good at, using those tools, and what he means by optimizing is that Revit can do a very nice basic model, but the rendering will take too long to do in Revit. So let's grab that, bring it into ChatGPT. But look, the precedents are very important. The precedents are like the soul of this. That's why I insist everybody should be doing precedent studies. It's not, I know Rai earlier was telling me like, Darwin, is our process changing? Are things changing? And I'm like, no, our envision was always too basic. We were always doing a very kind of like dialed down envision. Our envisions should be beyond what they have already been. Our envision should be our own image generating. Like, look, this is the envision that we have for the project. What do you think? It's already curated envision. It's a precedent study, and we're now acting as architects back again because we were just doing what the client wanted, but we know better than the client. And I'll tell you, from these projects, I see already designs that we should be emulating on other projects. Like I already see the evolution of the triple decker. And this is just one sample. He didn't show you the mansard roof styles that we've already been doing. He didn't show you. That's just team, though. I want all of you to be at that level. Imagine what would be possible with all of us performing at that level. The renderings, the imagery, the kind of clients, the kinds of projects. I mean, it would be just mind-boggling. It would be like on steroids, flying on steroids. We waste so much time on so many little things that don't matter. You have to have a clear mind too. You clear your mind from the noise, from the distractions. I want X, Y, and Z on X, Y, and Z way. And that's it. I have one example. Nicole, are you here on the call? So I used it on another one. So check this out, and you can move that because it's distracting, Tim. I am horrible at cost estimating. All of you probably are. That's not what we went to school for. But yesterday, I got a cost estimate that was horrible, and the housing authority commented on the cost estimate. And I'll make the long story short. Their comments was that it was about 3 times too low, that the prevailing wages were not used and the rates were not correct, and that we were treating both units. There were two different buildings, the same. I grabbed all of those comments. I cannot lie about this. I grabbed all of those comments. I grabbed the prevailing wages from the state and I threw it into ChatGPT. I grabbed the drawings and the specifications and I threw it into ChatGPT and I asked it. I asked it to create a new cost estimate based on those comments. I have never done cost estimating. I have no idea how to do it. Nicole, can you tell them what Howard and the Housing Authority said today about the cost estimate I submitted last night?
That was fine. Yeah.
They approved the whole cost estimate, the whole thing. They only said take the contingency of the design contingency off, which was 12K, whatever. I went into ChatGPT again and I told it to take the contingency off, and it took it off, and it kept everything the same. And not only that, check this out. I'm gonna share my screen because this is mind-boggling. Not only that, okay, he also addressed the comments one by one. Hold on, let me see. Can you see my screen right now? All right, so you probably see my Google Calendar. Is that correct? All right, check this out. So he also grabbed the comments from the Housing Authority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and addressed them and highlighted the areas that changed. I did not do this. I did not do this whatsoever. This is the cost estimate, all done, all completed. We saved a lot of money on this, by the way, guys. A lot of money, because there's consultants we have to pay. I didn't have to pay them. We're done. But literally address each one of them. My role changed from, I'm not a cost estimator, by the way, but I just went and matched the comments and saw it. Yes, that was addressed. Yes, that was addressed, which is something I do with all of you. Did they address the needs of the client? Yes, they did it. No, they didn't. And I went one by one. They reviewed it. By the way, we've been denied on this project like 3 times. Look, the comments addressed. He did it. I did not do this. I didn't. I just told her, here's the comments, the memos. Thank you, Nicole. That keeping track of the data is very important. You're gonna be more of a data manager than anything else. Keeping track of the needs of the client, keeping track of all of the requests, and making sure. Then your job is simple. Highlight it. The hourly rate was $80. Nope, the prevailing wages is 103.5. Great, that was addressed. The meter was the question. That was addressed. That's it. That's it. We've been struggling with this for months. Why didn't I do it before? I'll tell you, because I'm not comfortable with cost estimating, but you don't have to be a cost estimator. Just learn the basic, understand the comments, and you can use AI to do it. And he did it. And this is not the first one. I did another one, and Dave Toll, who has done cost estimating forever, told me that way I would have never done anything different than what you did. And I was like, if I told him that I use AI, he would go crazy. He would be like, what the heck? And I've been using it for a lot. Like, I don't know if you've seen the marketing posts I've been making on our Instagram. It's all AI. My book, I use a lot of AI. I literally recorded myself speaking about things that I thought were important. I wrote a little bit of it and I said, elaborate. And I like what you elaborated, and it was all part of flow, and it's been making it better and better and better. It will likely take a few iterations, you know. The first estimate was like 180,000, so I wasn't happy with it. I was like, something must be wrong. So I went in and edited. Like, you have to, you become better at curating, targeting what's wrong. I've been also doing it with permit sets and with code analysis. So Nicole gave me a code analysis. I threw that code analysis into ChatGPT, but I asked it for Massachusetts. Here's Massachusetts codes. I threw Massachusetts code in there. Here's a PDF of the building code. Flag things that you think should be looked at, and I will look at them. Then I looked at the whole thing anyway, because you don't replace your job. It's never going to take your job away. But I said, do that. Permit said, go and check all the grammar, check things that may be conflictive. I've been doing that a lot. Now I'm focusing on window schedules. I'm like, review these window schedules on this set, and I print it, I look at everything, and it will tell me, oh, there's a problem here, there's a problem there, there's a problem here. Now, fronting, I know the problems that we typically have. Tempered glass locations. Where are the tempered glass locations? Have they been addressed? Where are the egress path locations, like the doors? Are they 36 inches or not? Are the heat detector, smoke alarms, actually, they call them. We learned that recently. Smoke alarms properly identified? Yes or no? Um, is the zoning, does the zoning seem to make sense? Yes or no? And he gives me a list. It's making my review process much more efficient. I still review everything. I still do. But it's catching things that I would never catch, to be honest, because I don't have a whole lot of time. So I'm like, I'm going to just focus on these items and then the rest is going to be fine. So use the tools. Use the tool. You all have access to ChatGPT Premium. That's why I'm not canceling that subscription because it's saving us Lumion, which is less money. Like we're saving 10 times more money by doing that. So anything else, Tim? Sorry. Just give you a real example, completely unrelated to design, like because they're cost estimate. I didn't design.
Yeah, I think that's a very strong example of how AI could be used in our workflows to make things easier and us to be able to produce the same quality but at a faster rate. As I end the session, I want to still nail the point that it is still your job to counter check what AI provides. Do not delegate your responsibility to carry your due diligence as a designer. You are still responsible for that. There's a project that Wendy and I were working on where we checked the zoning requirements on ChatGPT and then the zoning requirements on the actual city site. And what ChatGPT gave us was absolutely wrong. So if ChatGPT gives you a wrong answer and the right answer exists, a response like, but I checked ChatGPT and it gave me the wrong response is an irresponsible response. It is still your duty to carry out that due diligence at the end of the day. So anything you work through these AI systems, especially if it's information heavy, do your due diligence to check it. Now, the Photoshop templates and InDesign and all those templates that I've shown, I will make those available tomorrow during Flow Organization Day so that and probably there will be a separate training on how to do site plans and all of that using those templates. But those will be made available and on file. The last thing I want to talk about on optimizing our process, and with the permission of our principals, would like to make this pretty mandatory. Let us switch, please, for the love of God. Let us switch from multiple Revit files to using design options. Why? Because when we're reviewing work, it takes a shorter time to look at it from design options than it is opening 4 or 5 models at the same time. Number two, with the recent case with what happened in Juliana's with Juliana's computer, some of these computers do not have the capacity to handle multiple files opening at the same time, right? And also number three, when you're showing designs to a client via Zoom, it's easier to have that on one Revit project, and also just exporting it and combining PDFs. It's easier on having that done on one Revit file. Now, as I'm reviewing them, as Darwin is reviewing them, as Marcos and Wendy are reviewing them, it also saves time when everything is in one file rather than us waiting for you to combine everything that you have into one file while we're sitting there when our project lists on our running lists are this thick, right? So it just makes things easier, and even when we're going in to edit it, it just makes it easier and lessens the job. So anyone who doesn't know how to fluently use design options, I believe there's a training for that. If not, please ask and you will be assisted. That's the other thing. For anything you don't know, please ask. It will save time for us to show you rather than you spending countless hours doing the job but doing it wrong. Thank you very much.
I am Darwin Fortuna, and I approve that message.
Tim, I do want to commend, man. Like, I commend you for your way of thinking. I love the fact that you mentioned don't let AI do your due diligence. I wanna actually really make sure that you guys understand that it's not that we are gonna lose from being architects. We're not gonna, AI is not gonna take our job. But we need to be efficient, and I commend you for doing this presentation. And man, it's incredible what you just show us today. So hopefully everybody learned just the same way as I did. I learned a bunch of stuff. So thank you, Tim.
Excellent. Anybody else? Anything else to add? Nicole, you've been using AI quite a bit? Anything you can shed light on that? I know we're a little, 3 minutes after, but anything we can add, that will be great.
No, I mean, I like the presentation that Tim did. I always kind of thought that Tim has good way of presenting, like he has a good way of speaking. So I like that. And I'm in agreement with what he said about efficiency, and that's what AI is for. It's just to help our work. So nothing for me to comment on that.
Yeah, all the meeting minutes from MOC, just so you guys know, I've been using AI to do them. So I sent an email saying, hey, for internal use only. I recorded it. I translated it. There's a software that takes the video and makes the words out of the video, and it tells you who said what. So all my meeting minutes, I've been using AI to do those meeting minutes. Nicole, you've seen that, and they've been very useful, right, Nicole?
Yes.
So I've also been doing submittal reviews from contractors using AI. I've created projects. I create projects on AI. We can talk more about that on another session, but I've been creating projects. I actually have created a marketing department project. I have created a project management project. I've created a AIA SFX project on my AI chats. So it's a project on all of that. I actually have one that's called the 4-Way, which is on the book, which is like an entire project on ChatGPT where I track all of those elements. I've created a what else? So I've been creating lots of projects for each project. Literally the same way that we have project folders, I have project folders for the projects on ChatGPT so that I can answer client questions. Like problem clients, I create a project for that particular client, and I have been copying and pasting answers and questions on that chat and reading them. It's helped me also be less reactive with clients because I could write a horrible email telling them to go for a walk and never come back. But then I tell it, ChatGPT, rewrite this, be a little nicer about it. I express my feelings and I tell it, be a little nicer about how I want to say that because I don't want to insult anybody, right? So you probably seen some of my emails too. It is still me, but I'm like, be to the point because I am too wordy. So I know myself. It's like I'm gonna use 20 words when I only need 2 words. So I asked ChatGPT, make this to the point. Make this to the point, straight to the point. I do not want to say too much about it. And I do that. And it's been very, very helpful. It's helped me quite a bit manage clients, even to respond to emails that you have, even to respond to requests that you may have. I'm like, what's the best way of answering that? I've been using it quite a bit, but it's still me. It's not a substitute for Darwin. I still think that the client needs to pay for additional services. I still think that Peggy needs to charge them. I'm just being a bit more proactive, more thoughtful, more professional, rather than like reactive. And it's been helping me quite a bit thinking. I've been using AI for other things. I've been using AI, believe it or not, to track my children. So I have one, and you can play with privacy settings, by the way. There's a lot, but what I mean by tracking, I want to improve my relationship with each one of my children, and I'm describing what they like, what they don't like, and then I'm thinking, what kind of gift should I give my children for Christmas? Because I've already been defining what DJ likes, what Emmeline likes, what Eviana likes. It's been like, dude, amazing. amazing for all kinds of things, like places to go to eat. I've been creating like, oh man, top 10 places to go to eat in Worcester. Here it is. I like fish. I like this or whatever. It's been very useful. I mean, very, very useful. To write reference letters, recommendation letters. I know Stephanie has been asking your careless team, dude, I just grab your resumes, I grab your portfolios, throw it into ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT what I think. I think Stephanie is great, but she needs to learn, like say, more construction document skills. But I don't want to talk about that on the reference letter, but I want you to know that, and write reference letter. Great. Done within seconds. So it's making us be like superhumans on day-to-day things, that we may not be as good with. Okay. So go there. I'm downloading this chat. So anything you want trainings on, how to use Illustrator, how to use Photoshop, I'll be tracking that so we can do one-on-one sessions on those and make sure that all of us perform at the same level. Now that Tim has shown all of this, his job is to make sure you all know this too. So he's going to like ask him and he's going to teach you. He's got a lot going on, but you see why he can do it. Tim is not alone. Nicole's not alone. They have minions. It's called ChatGPT. ChatGPT. All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.